Don't waste any more of your time trying to figure out how to use Google Analytics 4 or figure out even what from all the tons and tons and tons of stuff you can do in there actually matters to you as a blogger. I'm going to walk through exactly how I use Google Analytics 4 to help me in my business without wasting any time. This is my Google Analytics 4 account for one of our websites, cookforfolks.com. I have this selected to 30 days because 30 days is kind of what I got used to. We have a lot of metrics that we use that are kind of based on like page views per month, and earnings are always per month and all of that. And so 30 days makes a lot more sense to me. But I have this selected at 30 days. A lot of times by default on the homepage of Google Analytics, it'll just be at 7 days, especially on my mobile device. It's really easy to change the time frame here on the homepage. Just change this to 30 days or whatever you want, 28 days, custom, or they have all these preset ranges. So I just select 30. Let's take a little quick tour of the homepage. This has a lot of the stuff that I actually want right here. It's just not as obvious as it was on the old Google Analytics. So first of all, we have kind of 4 different drop downs of things that we can see. The first one that's showing for me right now is users. So these are individual people that came to the website in that time frame. Sessions is how many times people came to the website. So not how many people, but how many times they entered the website from not being on it. Event count, this counts all events. There are a lot of events in Google Analytics 4, and this is the biggest change. Before it was tracking every time like a page loaded, and that was kind of the only event. Or people coming to the website, that was a new session. But if they went from one page on the site to another page on the site, that was just another page view. Now we're tracking all sorts of events. They can track if a page scrolled beyond a certain point. They can better track time on page and that kind of stuff. And then here it was actually by default, it was just events twice, event count. To me, events isn't very helpful. I want to see specific events. And there's a lot of different events and different things that we can choose from. These are suggested ones. So users, we already have set up on here. Conversions, we'll talk about in a little bit. Engaged sessions, that's when people showed up on the page, but also scrolled and did some other things. That could be an interesting one to look at. But one of the ones I like to see is views. This is just page views. It's the same page view number we were used to seeing in the old Google Analytics. And this is one of those metrics that to me is the most important because the number of page views is the biggest driver of earnings. The more times people view a page on my website, the more money I'm going to make from ads from that page. And for specific pages, especially those ones that are more monetized, it's how I'm going to make more affiliate revenue and everything. Page views. That is the interaction that to me is fundamental. So just this report right here and just clicking on the views one is showing me sort of the overall how my site's doing over the last 30 days. Now here's the other thing. There's also this comparison line behind it that it's comparing it to a different time period. So right now what it's looking at is the previous 30 days. So I can see on a day-by-day basis, how am I doing compared to that same day 30 days before? Now there's one thing I want to point out. I have noticed on a few websites as I was looking through this that I wasn't getting the views option. And if that's happening to you, if you're like, I don't have that event, it's not working for me, there's probably a reason for that. Let me show you what that is. I'm going to go here into the admin. Originally, when we were kind of forced over to Google Analytics 4, Google created a GA4 property for every time that we already had a UA, the old Google Analytics property. So if you had a UA property, you didn't create a GA4 property, they created one for you. Now, obviously, Google can't go into your website and add the tracking code for Google Analytics 4 to your website. So what did they do? They linked the old tracking code, the UA tracking ID you had, to your new Google Analytics 4 account. They also gave us that option too. If you created your own Google Analytics 4 property, instead of going and putting the new tracking ID on there, you could just use the existing tracking ID and link them together. And that way you could continue to get the data in both accounts without having to make any changes on your website. But now if that's the case, you're not getting all of the data. So if you haven't yet, it's time to make this change. So what I'm going to do is go here into data streams. And here I'm going to click on the data stream that I have that was already set up for me. There should be one already by default. And I want to go grab this measurement ID. Or depending on if you're using a plugin or what theme you're using, if they'll just accept the measurement ID, great. If not, you're probably just going to need to go grab the script itself. I'll show you that in just a second. Now I'm here using Acrobato, our WordPress theme, and built into that is Google Analytics. So this is what it looks like if you're still using the old tracking ID. If you're using your UA tracking ID, that's what you're gonna see. I'm gonna replace that with a new tracking ID, and it's the one that starts with a G. and we'll hit update. So now it's going to use the GA4 tracking code, the script that's associated with the new Google tracking, as well as the new Google tracking ID associated with your Google Analytics property. Now, if you're not using a plugin or your WordPress theme for Google Analytics and you need to actually enter in the code itself, that you're going to find here on this same page in Google Analytics. We're going to go back down here to view tag instructions, and I'm going to go to install manually, and here they're going to give you this whole script. We're going to copy the whole thing, or you can just click that little icon there in the corner. Now it's copied. If you have a plugin or something that you're using, or your WordPress theme has a place for it to add code to the head section of your website, we're just going to paste it there. Here in Akkobato, we also have that, so I would just paste that literally right in here. I'm not actually going to do that though, because then I would have the tracking code on my website twice. If you go through those steps, it'll help ensure that you're now using the right Google Analytics tracking ID and the right code, and you should be able to get all of the right data. So now back to the reports. One thing I like right here on the Google Analytics homepage is it shows me my recently accessed reports. So if there's reports that I regularly look at, they're going to show up here a lot. Now, I just looked at the data streams and all the admin stuff, and so that's what's showing here, which isn't quite as helpful for me. But also on the homepage, I do have access to also some of the other top information that I like to look at in Google Analytics. The first one here is views by page title and screen. This one is really important to me to see how specific pages on my website are doing. I can click this little link right here and it'll take me right to that report. It also breaks down my traffic by organic search, direct, and all of that. Now notice I changed up here down to 30 days, but these down here, since they're all individual reports, I've got to change each one. So if I wanted to look at page views per page over the last 30 days, I would need to select that right here. That's just here on this homepage. If I go to a reports page, so let's go here to reports. The first thing it's going to take me to is this reports snapshot. This is a page I don't actually like as much, because on this page, there's nowhere where I can actually just look at page views over time. I can see sort of users over time. This is each day is the last 30 days, so I can just sort of see the trend of people coming to the site. I can look at event count. I can say, well, over this time period, which is defaulting, you can see up here in the right to 28 days, I can see how many page views, but I just can't see it sort of trending day by day or week by week. But the one good thing on this page is I can customize it. I can remove some of these that I don't like, and I can add new ones. So let me show you that. I just click this little pencil icon right up there. And these are just in order, 1, 2, 3, overview, real-time, and insights. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is new users, sessions, and users by country. So they're just in order right here. And I can add more cards. There just isn't a card in here anywhere for page views or views over time. There's several scorecard ones. See, I could go here, I could look at users by app version, by all sorts of things. I can go here to other cards, and I can look at user stickiness, lifetime value, and all of these things over time. But on these kind of run charts, or as Google calls them, scorecards, there's not a single one where I can just select page view or view. If I could, I would put that in and I would have that showing up right here on my report snapshot. But the cool thing here though is I can change the time frame and say, oh, give me 30 days or 90 days or 12 months even, and it's going to change all the reports on the page to look at that same time frame. So that's kind of nice. It just doesn't have kind of the main report that I want. I mean, I can see users, I can see new users, I can see engagement time over time, but I can't change this to just show me the dang page views. Let's try searching up here. That's the other thing that this has kind of improved upon, is the search is more intelligent, which makes sense with kind of the direction that Google and all these companies are going. So if I just do views per day index, let's just see what we get there. Reports, lifecycle, engagement, overview. So this is diving in and it's telling me how to find that. So if reports on the left-hand side, I could click on under lifecycle, engagement here on the left, then there's the overview, or I could just click it right here and it'll take me right there. So let's go see that engagement overview. There we go. I get at least views on kind of a daily basis. So I do get that. That's kind of nice. And again, on any of these reports pages, I can just select the time frame I want, and it's still holding to my 30 days, which is kind of nice. There's also all of these different ones. There's events. And here, this is probably my favorite way to look at the page views per day. Again, I can't get this over on the report snapshot, but at least I can get it here. And that's just by going here to the events report under engagement. Then it's giving me all these different events that exist, and I just click page view. And it's gonna filter out only page views, which is really nice. So now I'm looking at all of this other information here. Everywhere where it says event, it's just referring to page views. So I can see page views by country, how many page views I'm getting per session, 1.3 page views per session. Now, one report we see on here is looking at specific pages on the website. And you would think, because I filtered it down to event count only being page view, that it's giving me like, this is the percentage of page views on my website that were on this particular page. It's not what this report is saying. This one, if you actually look at it closely, it's measuring user engagement, which is like the scrolling and stuff or clicking through to other things. So it's saying 9.4% of users on this page engaged with the page in some way, which is helpful to know as long as we know what it is. Again, that's the biggest change that came to Google Analytics 4, is actually measuring more of those engagement metrics. If we go then to one of my other favorite reports here, which is the Pages and Screens report, that's where it's going to give me the actual breakdown of the amount of traffic to each of these different pages on my website. Something I really don't like about this report is that it doesn't give it to me in percentages though. It's only giving it to me for each of these as an actual number. And I've looked at this a bit and I haven't found a quick, easy way to change that to a percentage or to add percentage to it. If somebody knows how to do that, let me know in the comments below, because I really do like to see very clearly the breakdown from a percentage basis. I want to know what percentage of the traffic on my website in this time frame was to that page. We had that in the old Google Analytics. I just don't see it here. So that does make this report less useful than before. But as we could before, we can always download this data. Go ahead and click the share and then just download it like as a spreadsheet. And we could calculate that if we ever want to do kind of an in-depth analysis of the content on our website. I just don't feel like I should have to do that. The old Google Analytics had that number. Okay, the next thing that I like to track is conversions. I don't do this all the time. You can pick an action that people take on your website, and every time that action is made, you create a conversion so that it's easily tracked, and then you can just see how often that's happening and dive into that further. It's pretty cool. So let's go into that just really, really fast here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click admin, the little gear down in the bottom, and I'm gonna go to events actually, and I'm gonna create an event. So I'm gonna go ahead and create one. I'll just call it GA4 demo. And then we start usually with some sort of event. In fact, by default, event name is here, and the event name should equal something. So if it's a page view, meaning somebody came to a specific page on your website, or the value could be something else. For example, if they clicked on a specific thing, like a purchase on your website, if every time somebody makes a purchase, it takes them to a purchase confirmation page, then just loading that purchase confirmation page could be how you track how many people make that purchase. But I'm going to say the event name is a page view. So I could do something like page location equals, and then this is just a URL. So it could be, again, like a purchase confirmation page. So you have to actually do the full URL. So the HTTP or HTTPS as well. Let's just pick a page on the website. I'll go ahead and do this one. So this would be anytime somebody goes to this page where we have like a sign up for their email list. So I'm going to grab that URL and just put it in here. The form that I have on this page, this is actually an embedded form from outside of this website. So I'm not actually totally sure that Google could track when people actually clicked this button. But if clicking this button does lead them to a different page on this website, then that's what I could track. And it would tell me how many people signed up for the email list over a certain period of time. Likewise, I could include clicks to buttons that are on the website. So for example, if I'm sending people to a third-party site to actually make the purchase, but the buy now button, that could be the conversion. And then I could at least track how many people are clicking and how often. Now, once I've added in all the conditions that I want, then I just click save, and then I go back out to the events here. Now, I'm not actually going to be able to do anything with it until that event happens at least once. But once it does, I could go ahead and I just click this little toggle, mark as conversion. See, now a page view is going to be treated as a conversion. So it's really that simple. Just create an event that has all of the different criteria for what you want to track, and then call it a conversion, and now it's going to be tracked in your conversions report. Now there's another cool one that I want to show you. There's a ton of other stuff we can do in Google Analytics that's related to advertising. If you're running ads, I'm not running Google Ads. I rely on organic traffic, like I would say entirely, with like very little exception. I've done a little bit with ads, but today, like, we rely on organic traffic. So I'm not really worried about all of the capabilities with advertising, although if I were doing ads, that would be extremely important. And I will be doing some ads for another cool project I'm working on. That's not what this video is about, so we'll get back to that in the future. But this Explore tab is super cool. I love the path exploration. This is the one I've played with the most, and I think it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna click on path exploration. And here it's fun to just like play with this from the very beginning. So session start, this is the event name that we're starting with, and I could pick something else, but this makes a lot of sense. Meaning somebody came to my website, right? So this happened over this time period that we're tracking. It happened 11,916 times. Of those times, I got, well, there's 2 more starting points, some scrolls and some clicks. So anyway, of those, there were several events that took place that were page views. Some people clicked, some people, it was their first visit, and then 3 more. If I click on those, I can get the details, right? So a session started, and then these events happened. Some of the events were just a page view, others were a page view with a scroll and other things. But here I can go to page title and screen name, and it's going to tell me that these page views happened, but it's going to break it down now by which pages they were on. So now I can see that these are the pages that started these sessions during this time frame. And I can break it down further and further and further. But here's the cool thing. I can then click into this one, and I can see what happened from there. So of the people that came to the home page, some of them clicked on this article, others clicked here to the About Us, and on and on. And I can basically track the flow of what happened. If I click on one of these from food safety, here's what happened from there. And this is kind of just the beginning of the path exploration. We can play around with this going up and down the path. You could probably spend hours on it. That's not what I want you to do. But sometimes it's really handy to see over this time frame, which we can change over here in the upper left. So right now, let's look at 30 days. Let's say I did some work on the internal linking on this How Many Green Beans article, and I just want to know how well is that working. I say, okay, well, of the 159 people that came there, 66 of them went back to the homepage, others went to About Anna, others went to About the website, and then a few others went to some of these other pages. And I could use that to calculate sort of a percentage. X% of people who came to this page clicked on the link that I put in that page to another page on the website. This is what I have used in the past actually to do that very thing, where I did some internal linking and then wanted to track how well that internal linking improved over time and how many page views it really added to my website just through that linking out to some of these other posts on my site. This isn't something that was nearly as easy to track back in the previous Google Analytics, at least not without some previous setup. So now let me bring that back. When I use Google Analytics, what do I use it for? Primarily, I want to see how my website is doing overall. What's the trajectory? Especially if there's like an algorithm update or something and people start saying, whoa, my site dropped. I'll go take a look real quick. Okay, on a high level, how are we doing? And that's all that I do kind of on a week-by-week basis. Don't do it on a day-by-day basis. It will drive you crazy. Beyond that, I primarily look at the views by page title. Here it's by page title and screen, but it's this report here. I click into it to get the more detail, and I will sometimes export this entire report, and then I'll use that in a Battleship audit, because that's what really gives me an indication of what traffic on my website is doing really well. If I want to dive into that a lot further, that's when I go to Google Search Console and start looking at what search queries are working the best and identify opportunities to either add to or improve the content that I have, or to write new articles entirely based upon search queries that I'm not winning, but that I know have a large amount of potential. Beyond that, I sometimes use it for conversions, and sometimes I like to track the traffic flow, but usually only when there's a specific reason, like I've done a bunch of interlinking and just want to see how it's working and if I want to make any tweaks to it. So there it is. I hope I helped you find the reports that you need in Google Analytics 4. If there are other reports that you like to use or that you liked to use back with the old Google Analytics that you're having a hard time finding or using, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll be able to make a follow-up that answers some of your additional questions. But mostly, don't overthink the Google Analytics. Focus primarily on the big picture, and then only dive into the details when you have a specific reason to. That's my advice. And with that, I'd say just get back to work, make some awesome content, and we'll see you in the next video.